Hi, my name is Jacob Duran. I'm a cut man for a lot of the fighters. Primary cut man for the Ultimate Fighting, and I work with boxing, MMA fighters, K1 fighters, anybody that puts gloves on.
What's the biggest challenge for you in your role and your job, what you do?
Well, it's the biggest challenge is to give that fighter one more round. I mean, that's at the end of the day is protect the fighter and make sure that he's able to go one more round if he gets cut, if he gets some kind of swelling, and even before all that starts, before they get into the ring, in the dressing room is my job is to wrap their hands and make sure that their hands are secure and they don't break their hands because they're $1 million hands. So wrap their hands, get them in the ring, make sure that they're okay. If they get cut, give them that one more round.
Is it harder to be a cut man in a boxing match or an MMA match?
MMA, no doubt. There's in MMA there's multiple cuts. Where in boxing you might get one cut, and but cuts a little bit more in MMA. So yeah.
What did you think of Josh Barnett's performance tonight?
I thought it was quite dominating. I think Josh wanted to definitely tap him out and break his arm. But I saw Gilbert in the elevator. My wife and I were going up the elevator, and he was in the elevator with us, and he looked like the Elephant Man. So he was saying, Josh just hit me with a whole barrage of elbows, but no, it was a strong performance. So I was glad for Josh.
When you work for the UFC or you work for the, is it safe to say you are an employee of the UFC?
Well, I'm not an employee. Everything I do, I freelance, Mike, and I work on a fight-by-fight basis. But unless I have a boxing event, like I work with Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko, unless I have a big boxing event like that, then I'll work the UFC events.
Has there ever been any pressure from UFC, we would rather you not be on Affliction, or we rather you not be on Elite XC, or has there ever been pressure like that?
Nah, you know what, Dana White knows, and he, and it's funny because a lot of people ask me that question, and the last time I did the Affliction fight here, I had a sports writer that did an interview regarding that, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is Dana White knows that I come from a boxing background. I'm a freelance cut man. My job is really to protect the fighter. I don't get into the politics or anything like that involved, and Dana knows that I'm here to help the fighters out, and he welcomes that, so it's never been a problem.
You have the several different medications or ointments that you put on the cuts. Can you tell us what they are and what each does?
Yeah, it's very simple. The primary one is the adrenaline chloride 1000. That's the one that you'll see in the swab where we put into the cut. What that does, that closes up the blood vessels. It's a constrictor. And then another primary medication that we use is Avitine. And Avitine, I used that on Forrest Griffin when he fought Shogun. That's a coagulant. So, we have medicines that coagulate and we have medicines that constrict. And, I put out that video giving the fighter one more round that's available in Fighter Warehouse and TitleBoxing.com. But it shows what I do as a cut man for the fighters, and it's, what I do seems to be quite successful.
What's your website again? How can they get your video? What will they learn from it?
The video is actually, it's called Giving the Fighter One More Round, and it's an exceptional video. It's the first one, the only one of its kind, but it shows a trainer how to take care of a fighter for the fan. If he wants to, know what a cut man does behind the scenes, it gives them the behind the scenes stuff, but shows you how to wrap hands for boxing, MMA, and then we talk about the medications that you just asked about and what the primary functions are and how to actually treat cuts and treat swelling. Everything that a trainer needs to know to really get the fighter at his top peak.
Did you ever work with Mayweather?
No, I've worked with the brothers and the uncles in the corner, but never had the opportunity to work with Floyd Mayweather Jr. Outside of just doing some work in the gym, but that never happened.
What did you think of him doing Wrestlemania?
It's a marketing thing, and Floyd's a boxer and a great boxer by all means, and if he can make additional money in Wrestlemania, then let him do it. And everything is pretty much choreographed anyway, and if you could bring a big name like Floyd like that, he needed that for a marketing aspect, and I guess the fans liked it, so it was quite successful.
On the topic of pro wrestling, do you ever see did pro wrestling ever influence MMA in any way? Perhaps the way it, you know what I mean? Did it? And how so?
Josh Barnett's a good example. Is he does what you call catch wrestling. And you know, when we used to go to Japan to train to fight up there, we would go to Bill Robinson, which is an old veteran wrestling fighter, one of the old veterans, and he showed Josh a lot of the catch wrestling techniques. And no, I think it had the influence in that. You know, Bill Goldberg saw him today, and you know, he gives me a big hug and tells me to tell Josh congratulations. And you know, a lot of the influence that these guys had, the wrestlers, definitely has filtered off into MMA, no doubt.
Do you have any like you know, students in the game that you're mentoring as a cut man? Like, and who's the next big cut man? Who's going to take your place?
Well, yeah, I do. You know, there's some guys that I do school and I do mentor, and you know, and they give them the inspiration. You know, but you know, down the road, hopefully, I want to do some seminars, Mike, where you know, wherever I go to a UFC event or a Affliction event, then maybe the day of the event, or the day before the event, I can sit down with some of the trainers and some of the fighters and show them what I do. I think it's important for the game for people to know how to wrap. Excuse me, people know how to wrap hands and work cuts. It's going to happen. You know, I wrapped Fedor Emelianenko's hands today, and you know, after the fights, he comes and gives me a big hug, and you know, we celebrate by taking a shot of vodka. And you know, to me, it's a great honor, you know, to have a guy like Fedor that wants me to wrap his hands because he figures I got a good rap, and you know, he knocked out Arlovsky in the first round, and you know, kind of nice, you know, to be involved in that.
What's it like taking a shot of vodka with Fedor?
Well, it not only one, but I took two of them, you know, which is great. I mean, I walk in and you know, that's the thing about me. I get those stories that nobody ever gets, but I go in there and I wrap Fedor Emelianenko's hands, right? You know, and he's had problems with his hands, and knocks out Arlovsky with one shot, and you know, I go in there and congratulate him, and the first thing he does, gives me a nice hug and gives me a nice kiss on the cheek. It's Fedor, baddest man on the planet, right? And then, you know, what he does, he breaks out the bottle and pours me some vodka, and we take a toast, and it's about this much vodka, and I'm not a big drinker, you know, but I had to shoot it down just like a proud Mexican, and then after that, you know, I brought my wife and my son in the dressing room and took a group photo with Fedor holding the belt, and then he breaks open the vodka one more time as a family toast with only the family.
Wow.
I was involved with that, so you know, to me it was a great honor, you know, just to be, you know, for what I did for Fedor and protecting his hands and giving him that opportunity to knock Arlovsky out and have a little bit of a, you know, point where I could bring to the fighter, and that's a good example of what I do.
Yeah. Now, you drank the vodka, but did Fedor drink any tequila?
No, I didn't bring no tequila with me, man. But you know what? Next time, that's a good point.
Yeah,
you know
maybe
what?
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Knock on his hotel door.
Yeah, well,
I'll go in there with you, the camera.
He asked what my room number was, and because he's supposed to come up and drop off some shirts, you know, with the Last Emperor and Fedor Emelianenko. So yeah, you know, to me, I'm just honored. How many guys you know get a chance to wrap Fedor's hands?
Yeah, not many. Nobody.
Nobody that I know of. But
3 people in the world.
Yeah,
probably.
exactly.
You know?
And I've done it like 4 or 5 times already.
Wow.
You know,
that's cool.
So for me, it's a big honor.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the interview.
Hey, it's my pleasure, Mike, anytime. Huh?
Yeah, and I'll get you the DVD version.
I'm going to take you up on that.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Cool.
Pleasure.
Don't
Bye.
turn up. I love you, man.
I love
Hey,
you too,
if
man.
it weren't for this guy, no bullshit, he spent 2-3 hours teaching myself and Eric Pauls. I'm Fred George, by the way. If you don't know me, I'm the Detroit Diesel. Kind of weird. We run the CSW Training Center. We have Josh Barnett, Brock Lesnar, Babalu, some of the monsters. This guy comes in, and he's so generous. He could have charged or hidden his skills. He spent 2-3 hours teaching me his tape chop.
How to wrap hands.
I respect him so much, I can't even tell you. The guy's an animal. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. But you know, and that's the thing about it, that's a good point, because if nobody teaches a guy like him how to wrap hands and take care of his fighters, the game's not going to get any better. Yeah. And you know, I have a gift of doing those things, and I don't mind sharing.
And one last question for you, maybe even a controversial question in some sense, since you're in the boxing world. I noticed tonight that whenever they showed Oscar De La Hoya's face on camera, the MMA fans in the arena were booing like crazy. And like, do you think there's any like a sense of lack of respect since he's helping promote this? And
well, I don't know. My wife told me. I never noticed that because I was in the dressing rooms, but my wife told me that that they booed Oscar every time they showed him on the screen. Why, I don't know. You know, I don't know if they figure that, you know, he's cheesing up the sport by leaving boxing and coming into MMA, seeing that MMA is growing. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, or being that, you know, they're MMA fans and not boxing fans, and Oscar represents boxing. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see it, so it's tough for me to comment on that. But I've worked with Oscar before, and you know what? He's a dynamite guy, man.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't like influence his decision in not doing it again, or you know what I mean? Because he probably didn't. It seemed like he was backstage in the press conference. He didn't seem like, I saw an unhappy look on his face almost. That seemed.
Well, I don't think he's accustomed to that. You know, I've been in many fights with Oscar where people are just flocking at him like the Beatles. And to have somebody in the MMA world to come and boo Oscar, I think is a whole new, different story.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I don't get involved in politics.
Yeah.
Ain't my job. All right.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.
All right.
All right, Mike.
Bye.